Hi, I'm Raeann.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Morgan.
This is the Good Soup Podcast, and today we are going to talk about religion.
Good soup.
Woo! Yeah, so it's funny because I think it's hilarious. We went from Would You Rather to religion. We're really jumping in.
We're just gonna go for it.
We're really going to go for it. But the first thing I think we should talk about is just like, how have you guys grown up? Like, what's your experience and your faith journey? And yeah, what about that?
We're all just
Go for it.
looking at each other.
Everyone looked at me and I'm like, I don't want to start.
Go.
I can start.
Go for
So, I'm going to move the microphone over to me because I'm going to be talking.
Wow.
Stealing the spotlight. Go for it.
Stealing the spotlight. Yeah. So, I grew up in the Catholic Church. Went like Wednesday after school. It was like right across from our school. So we'd like walk around the playground to the church. And then there'd always be a crossing guard to let us go. And so I did that as long as I can remember. And it was fine. I'm not a huge fan of the Catholic Church. My family was a kind of family that like we prayed every night before dinner. When we actually ate dinner together. We don't really do that anymore. It sounds sad, but it's really not. And then like we would only go on like Christmas and Easter. We were that kind of family. But then my siblings and I would go every Wednesday afternoon. But then one day my sister went with a friend for a Wednesday evening service at one of the Baptist churches in the area to like it wasn't quite youth group because they were in middle school. No, she was in 6th grade. No, 5th grade. Because I think it was in 3rd grade. Anyway. And so like she went to that and had just like an absolute blast. And so I'm like, well, I want to go to that. And then so we started going there. So after school, we'd go to the Catholic church, and then we'd eat dinner, and then we'd go to the Baptist church.
So much church.
And yeah. And so, because my mom said that we couldn't just quit in the middle of the year. We had to keep going. And then after that year, then we quit going to the Catholic church and got like shunned. But then we just went to the Baptist church for our Wednesday nights. And then, yeah, still went really after like my grandma died in 8th grade, we didn't really even go on Christmas and Easter. We mostly just like went on Thanksgiving because they had pie.
Oh, pie is a motivator.
My family is not really church people. Like we're all Christians, but we're not all like, I wouldn't all say we're like all saved Christians, which is, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But then like when I started going to youth group at the Baptist church in middle and high school, then I think that's when I really like learned that you can have a relationship with God and he's not just like there. 'Cause at the Catholic church, you don't really talk about having a personal relationship with him. And so that was kind of new to me, and I kind of like figured that out, and yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
Never thought I'd be at a Christian school for college, but here I am.
Here you are.
And wanting to work in Christian media and starting a Christian media business.
I feel like if I've learned anything, it's like whatever you expect, you can just like throw it out the window.
Literally.
Yeah, that's really
Okay,
good.
who's next?
I'll go.
Morgan, let's go.
Well, I grew up Lutheran. I don't know. I don't think, like, kind of like what you were saying, Raeann, like, my family kind of only went on, like, the holidays, or we'd, like, get in the mindset of, like, going, and then we'd go for, like, a short amount of period, like, consistently. I would go to, like, youth groups on Wednesday, in, like, middle and high school, so I did that, and then when I got to high school, I just kind of I was trying really hard to be part of like there was like basically a youth group at my high school that would like gather like every Tuesday morning or something, and I was like a part of that. Like I wouldn't say I was like completely cut off, but I think I viewed it more as like a chore than like wanting to like actually like build a relationship.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, so I feel like that was my mindset for like a long time. And then like also growing up, like my grandma was like very much into it, and so I'd go to church with her, but like it would like feel like a chore, and I didn't really understand like at that age what it all meant. But I feel like I didn't take it seriously until college when I needed him like the most in my life when I entered. So
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Hannah, your turn.
You're going.
I'm stealing the mic.
You do that.
Don't want it to like. Okay, there we go. All right. So I would say I grew up in the church. I don't remember much from Oklahoma because I was born there. I was a baby, so I don't remember. So I just started in Texas. Went to Cornerstone Church, and I literally like every Sunday I would be dropped off. There was like a separate like kids building, so you'd go to like the kids area while all the adults went to like the adult service. I was there. Yeah, I mean, I would just go every Sunday. We'd have like little like field trips every now and then. Don't remember a whole lot from that because I was super young. So moving here to Minnesota was pretty interesting because we just just remember going to Cornerstone all the time. And then we were just trying to find a church. You know, there was one like down the road from our house. We went there. It wasn't that great. Then we went to Rock Point for a couple of years. And then we all just kind of like fell out at our own time in like going to church all the time. I didn't even see the denomination. I think evangelical free. I think that's what I've done most of my
The pastor spoken class.
Oh, gotcha.
Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, there was, and then Rock Point, I just kind of fell out from going there. I was kind of like the last person in the family to just be like, I'm not a huge Rock Point person. I went to Eagle Brook, and I've just kind of fallen out from really going to church, really. So.
It's hard in college, I think.
Yeah.
Especially since, when I grew up, my family went to church pretty much every Sunday. So I was like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
It's just like you go to church on Sunday, and then you go to college, and you're like, well, I don't even have a car. Or how do I get here?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a lot harder because you're like, oh, I have this paper due, and my friend's doing this, so it's kind of difficult.
I will have to disagree with you on that.
Oh.
I feel like it's been a lot easier, at least for me, to get motivated to go because we do. We have like brunch here, so it's like fun to like go to church with like your friends, or even like I would go with my sister, and then I'd go to brunch afterwards. And I feel like being around like Christ-centered people has like helped me and like keep accountable of like going each week, or not even each week. Like sometimes I can't go, but
I feel like I have yet, and I think this is kind of leading into what we're talking about next, but I kind of have yet to find a church down here. And even then, like, I didn't really go to church on Sundays when I was with that Baptist church. And so I just haven't really even made the effort to try. I keep saying, once I get a good Christian boyfriend, then we'll go to church together every Sunday. But that's just me putting off going and actually finding a church. Because I want to start going regularly, because I never had, like, in my life. But I'm just not making the effort to do that.
I think it really depends on like the church too. Like growing up, like when I would go to church, even like with my grandma or like with my like family, the reason it felt like a chore because it felt like very boring, and I don't know if it was just because of the church I went to. Like the music was just like very
Hymns.
like medieval feeling.
Love hymns.
So I think that's where it's just like it kind of drew me away from it. But now that I go to Eagle Brook, it's just I don't know, I feel like it's just much more uplifting, and like I connect to it a lot better. So I think it really just depends on like what church you go to.
I for sure I like it kind of like me going to church. It was more like I went to like Wednesday night every Wednesday night. I'm like, oh, I got church. But I think just because I like kept going, like, oh, I did kind of feel like a chore, kind of like what you were saying, Morgan. It's just like, so I just feel like that didn't really help me. Because I was like, at first, I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's Rock Point. Because at that point, when I was at Rock Point, I was just like, oh, man, it's just kind of like the same routine over and over again. Then I'm like, oh, Eagle Brook, and like, it was okay. And then it's just kind of like, okay, well, it's not that great. But, yeah, that's just kind of the point where I kind of felt just like, no.
It's also, like, hard. Like, I could not go to church alone.
Yeah.
I could not, like,
Yep.
so even if I want to try going to churches around here, like, I cannot go. And it's kind of, I feel like it's really awkward to either be like, hey, do you want to try out some churches together, like, with my friends, or, like with you guys? Or even, like, being like, hey, can I go to church with you on Sunday? It's so awkward, and I haven't
It's awkward.
tried to have that conversation.
Yeah, it's hard, especially if it's like a small church. Like I go to a church where it's like 200-300 people. So when you walk in and you don't know everyone, it's like an extended family, and then you're just there. So it's hard to go, especially if you're by yourself. So yeah.
So you're just kind of sitting there, you're just like, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Hi, how are you?
That's good. That's
Quite
good.
awkward.
Well, moving from that, so that was kind of like our childhood and how we're being brought up. How do you guys think your faith journey has changed, like moving into college? And you talked about that a little bit. But where did you say you're on the way?
Drastically different.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because my parents aren't there either. They'd be like, all right, time to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like, oh, it's like I'm an adult.
Right?
Ugh.
I would say, like in high school and even like middle school, I would be considered like a lukewarm Christian. Like my family still prayed like at dinner and like before I went to bed, but like we kind of went sporadically to church. And I feel like now, I guess just being around those people, like I said earlier, like everyone, not everyone maybe, but a lot of people here think the same when it comes to like religion. So I feel like that being around that all the time has influenced me to like change for the better and like actually like commit to God, I guess.
Yeah. No, I feel like even in high school when I was learning that like you could have a relationship with God, I really didn't until coming here. And you know, took classes on like biblical history and all that sort of stuff, and I didn't really like pay attention or like learn too much from that. But with all the classes, like not Bible classes, in like all the media classes that we take, we talk a lot about how to grow our relationship with God and how to share him with other people through media. And I think learning that in classes and like praying in class and just like talking about religion and life in class and going to chapel and just that being open to talk about that, like I am so much closer with God. And I would like actually like consider myself like saved. Like I'm most likely going to heaven now, like I think, I hope. And then honestly, it sounds kind of cheesy, but after I started working for KTIS, I started listening to KTIS.
Yeah.
Stop. I always would laugh when people would be like, oh yeah, my life has changed.
Yeah. No,
It's kind of incredible.
It's kind of true.
Yeah.
I've cried so much in my car listening to KTIS.
Oh.
It's okay, man.
It's good.
okay.
It's so good.
And it also like just being more in professional Christian media, and just learning how you can still do funny, dumb things on the internet, but still be like having
What do you
God.
mean? What do you mean?
Hi, how are you? Funny, dumb things on the internet. Even like doing stuff like this, like we're still growing a relationship with God and sharing it. And now I'm going to North Carolina to share the
I
word.
know.
And
Wait, you're going to a North Carolina trip?
I am, yeah.
I'm
Not
going
the
to that
trip.
too.
Oh, no, it's not a trip. It's a
Internship.
internship this summer.
Oh. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's South Carolina, but like,
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
None of
close.
those-
I got really excited for a second.
Wait, they're going.
Yeah, the South Carolina trip they do every year with campus outreach.
Oh, fun.
That's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they do that.
That's really good.
Yeah, like, now I actually want to get into, like, missions.
That's missions right there.
Yeah.
I think that is.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Hannah, what do you think?
Um,
Surprise.
I just love seeing the peak of your, like, screen.
Thanks. About today.
Oh no, I'm getting
It's okay.
flashbacks to media history.
Oh my
Yeah, it's okay.
gosh,
Listen,
literally-
it's the magic of editing. Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
What?
I just remembered what she meant by that.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Oh.
thoughts lost me now. Does anyone else want to
Well,
go?
I was
It's
gonna
okay,
say
I can-
Elizabeth can go.
I
And then
can
you
go.
can think about it.
I can go. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I feel like, so yeah, growing up in church, I always had like, I was thankful that I went to church every week. And my parents, like, they always made it a priority for me. And then going to church as a college student, I was like, I kind of don't need to go. Like, you have chapel every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I mean, you could go every day if you wanted.
Yeah.
But so I was like, it's fine. I have like enough like Jesus time in my life.
Yeah.
But there's such a huge difference from chapel to church because I feel like chapel, it's like you go, you sit down, you learn things and you leave, which is cool. That's great. But I feel like church, you have a lot more community there,
You
which
really, like,
is,
take it in.
yeah, you take it
It's
in.
different.
It's more relationship based than just
Yeah.
like learning.
Yeah.
Relationship, it's different. So yeah, I think it's been more challenging because I've had to choose it consciously,
Yeah.
which is tricky. And then I think you guys know my mom almost died from COVID like a year ago, and so from there I was like, that kind of like I feel like there's a precipice between your childhood where you grew up as a Christian, so that's what you do, to as an adult you choose it because you want it,
Yeah.
and that just kind of like shoved me over to the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big moment for me. But I feel like from that now, because I've had to make that decision, I can keep growing in my own personal relationship. But it's definitely not as like fast as I want. Because I don't know about you guys, but I have like really good Christian friends that are like, I read my Bible every day, and I'm like, I opened my Bible app this week. Like,
Elizabeth,
Yeah.
you are one of my really good Christian
Yeah.
friends.
I
So
would agree.
Yeah.
that's sweet. I definitely don't do all the things I should, but
Yeah.
I try. Yeah. Were you going to say something, Morgan?
No.
No? Okay. Amazing. But yeah. And then so I think we can just move on to the
unless
next
Hannah,
question.
did you
unless
come up with things?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
Okay.
So it's just now at a point in life because now I just feel like, I'm much more independent. Like I said earlier, like I don't have my family or my parents specifically. Just be like, all right, kind of like that. Not pushing force, but just like a sense of routine with them. Because I know now my parents are empty nesters and they just found a church, and I'm just like, awesome. But then I'm over here just like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm just kind of at a point where just like I don't know what to do. So
Yeah.
which isn't exciting.
Yeah.
It's more stressful. On
It's
top
hard.
of all the other stress
Yeah.
of graduating soon and all of that. So
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yes.
And you're already figuring out everything else in your life. So
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
I got to throw church on that as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, exactly.
It's another
So
thing to worry about.
yes,
That's good.
good soup.
Let's
Good
see.
soup.
Good
Great
soup.
Great.
That's
soup.
good. So let's see. What should we talk about next? So thinking about where we're at now, how do you guys hope that you can maybe grow in the next year? Like, do you have any goals for yourself, or what are you guys thinking about as you move forward?
I feel like for me, I want to get better at opening up my Bible every day or more often. Maybe not every day, and maybe go to some Bible study groups and I don't know, get more involved in that way instead of just going to church on Sunday or just going to chapel and really just take it in more, I feel like.
It's good.
Are you gonna use the Christian key vocab word intentional? Be more intentional with everything.
Yeah,
Someone-
someone somewhere decided intentional was the Christian word.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
I know I want to see, it's hard because I don't know where I'm gonna be after I graduate.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like necessarily find like a home church now, only to like leave it in like a year.
Yeah.
But there's like this devotional podcast that I've been really liking listening to, and they come up with episodes pretty much every day, and it's like 10 minutes.
Dang.
So you would think it would be really easy to take 10 minutes to listen to it every day. No,
It's hard.
no, I can't. So I want to get better at that and just being more in scripture specifically, because I feel like I lack a lot of knowledge in that.
Yeah, I feel
And not that
same.
that's like a bad thing, because as long as you have like a pure heart and like you have a true relationship with God, then that means more than knowing every single word of the Bible.
Yeah.
But I feel like it could just help me a lot in life. And so I want to try and focus more on that kind of stuff. And then maybe after I graduate, work on getting a home church figured out.
For sure.
Yeah, I for sure it's been on my mind recently of like what's gonna happen after graduation, kind of going with what I said last time of just like what are gonna be the next steps. And I know Monique, she's talked about going to Salt and one other place, I don't remember. But I was just like, I should find like a Bible study. 'Cause I don't know. I just feel like church isn't my thing right now. But I don't know. I really have no idea what's going on in my life right now.
That's
But
okay.
it's fine. But yeah, kind of then when you were talking about like where am I going to be in the next year, and I'm just like, well, shoot, where am I going to be? So that's also now another thought. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some steps forward are good. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, it is hard with moving quickly and like
Yeah.
not knowing where you're going to land. Because I feel like once you find a home church, it's like you're emotionally invested. And so you don't want to like move around a
Yeah.
ton.
Yeah.
So that is hard when you don't exactly know where you're going to be.
Yeah, like I'll be at school now for the next couple of months, and then I'll be in a different state, and then I'll be back at school. And next summer, I'll either like have a job or
True.
be somewhere or like be at home.
Yeah.
So it's just like there are multiple places that I'm just like moving back and forth. So it's hard to commit to something.
It's really hard. It's really hard.
And church is a big commitment.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
It is.
It's hard to wake up early
It'd
on a
be.
Sunday.
It's like
Facts.
I'm curious about how, I don't know, things are gonna be like when I graduate, or when you know you were saying when you guys graduate. Just like, oh, is it because I'm around people that think the same way as me, or like after college, will I be able to still continue with that and like continue that relationship?
I feel that, yeah, because
it's
it's easy to think about God.
when you're in the influence of others.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why I was saying, like I said earlier, like I want a really good Christian boyfriend who can keep who can keep me accountable, because I can't keep myself accountable. But I think I hope that, I mean, obviously I want to stay like best friends with you guys.
Yeah.
Not saying that I don't, but like have people in my life who we can keep each other accountable, who we have that kind of relationship. And then also like I mentioned I didn't want to go to a Christian school. After I accepted the fact that I'm going to a Christian school for 4 years, I didn't want to work in Christian media at all.
Shut up.
We love that for you. Look at you now, thriving.
God really just is throwing some slam dunks in my life.
He really is.
Just right over.
Yeah. Because now, like, I don't know exactly where I want to work, where I'm going to end up working, or if, like, this is going to take off, but, like, there's, like, a 9 on 10 chance that I'll be working in Christian media for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm honestly lucky in that fact, because it'll be a similar atmosphere, if not the exact same atmosphere, if I work for Katie for Northwestern Media, than like here. So it'll hopefully be somewhat similar to that. So I'm personally lucky in that regard.
Yeah. I feel like like me personally, I have a good foundation here that like I think I'll be okay like once I leave to like continue that. But
Yeah. And I think in the Bible it talks about how it's not good for like we're made to be in community.
Yeah.
So even if your community looks different than it does now, I feel like there are people that God will give us to like encourage us as we go.
That's why I'm like kind of worried and kind of anxious about like getting a job in TV and film because
Yeah.
a lot of people don't think that way, and I don't want to be like influenced that.
Yeah. I was actually just
It can either be, I was gonna say it can either be like a super like it's really on either end of the spectrum. I feel like in media.
Yeah. No, it really is. I was talking to Wes the other day, and we love Wes.
I saw him yesterday at Dunbros.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
so fun. Yeah, he was talking about how it's almost harder to be a Christian in an area where it's like Christianity culture rather than because like if you want to be a Christian in Los Angeles, you gotta like fully commit because it's not like culture is gonna just ease you along.
Yeah.
But he had those people that were able to like. He was able to connect with and like be like accountable, like, hey, how are you doing? But like, how are you really doing? And so, yeah, you'd have to just make it a lot more intentional using that Christian word.
Yeah.
Intentional.
Name of the episode.
Are we here for the right reasons, guys?
I wish that I could have
gotta take
a
a drink.
penny every time I've heard the word intentional in the last 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
I
We'd be
actually
rich.
haven't heard it that much. That just
Yeah,
must
I
be a
haven't
here
either.
thing on the radio or something.
Podcasts, I feel like Christian podcasts, especially if it's a Christian relationship podcast, just really intentionally
every time,
pursued me.
every
you
time
know?
anybody talks about like, okay, so what do you want to do? What are your goals for life, and how do you want to get better this week? And how can I pray for you this? Like we have prayer groups in band, and a lot of the times we talk about being more intentional with our time and with our faith.
I know.
Hear it so much.
It's really funny. Oh my word. It's just there's those little Christian buzzwords where it's
Yeah.
like, oh. But now that I'm like it's in my brain, it can't get out. So that's just the
Literally.
way it is now.
Literally.
It's funny. So on a bit of a lighter note, we're talking about worship styles, how you grew up Lutheran, Baptist, Catholic. How do you like I remember going to chapel. Hannah, you were talking about how you were like completely shocked with the hymns and everything.
Oh my god.
Tell us a little about that.
Holy. Okay. So my brother, you guys know Jacob, he also graduated. Hi, I'm just gonna steal this
Just do
microphone
it.
for a second. Hi. So my brother also graduated from Northwestern. We grew up in a evangelical free church, so we didn't know any hymns. Didn't even know that they were a thing, honestly.
Oh, wow.
So then we go to Northwestern and we're just like, what are these people saying? Sorensen, what I don't never remember what
Peace
phrases.
be with you.
Yeah, and I was like, and also with you. I'm just like, did I miss something? I don't know if Sorensen ever noticed my shock, but I'm just like, is this a cult? Like, did I miss? Like, I was so.
Yes, it is a cult.
No, it's not. Right? No, it's not. But I was so confused, and I remember FaceTiming my parents. I'm like, what is this school? And they're like, oh, those are hymns, and I'm like. What are
You're
those? What are those? I'm like, I'm just like, I don't know. But I also talked to Jacob, and he's like, yeah, it was just weird. And I never remember if it's progress or redemption or spiritual formation. But we went to Naz Chapel, and we did like this like water bowl like thing. I don't know. It was
Is it like
I
the
think I remember
baptism
that.
thing
Yeah.
where you do a cross on your forehead?
I don't even know.
Every
had
time,
to, like-
every
No.
time you step
It's
into the
like you,
Catholic
like-
church, there's a little bowl of holy water.
No,
and
it
you
was
go,
it was Nash Chapel. There's like the table towards the back, or like the altar, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't even know. But we literally like you like put your hand in the bowl, and everyone's like does like this short little like prayer or saying.
Oh,
And
I
it's just,
haven't
like,
heard that.
What I was so confused, and there was like, oh, if God is calling to you, like go ahead and like put your hand in the bowl. I'm like, I'm not touching that bowl.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that was, but and my parents just laughed because I think they grew up in a Catholic church. I think my mom did. I don't know what my dad, but both my parents grew up in the church. But yeah, they were just laughing because Jacob and I were like, what is this? Like we're just used to kind of like KJS music, just like more modern Christian music and not like older songs. That was
That's-
just a whole adventure of time here. I'm like,
It's
what?
so funny because we have such a different perspective of Northwestern as we entered in.
Uh-huh.
Because coming in, I'm like, oh, this is so modern. Like, this is like, it's free. It's like non-denominational. Like, it's not that uber traditional. Like, growing up in the Catholic Church, like I said, every time you enter the church, there are like a bunch of bowls of holy water, and then you like dip your fingers in there and like do the cross, and then before you sit down in a pew, you have to like kneel and cross, and then get up and then you sit down. And we had like the like pew like
Kneelers.
And so like you stand up, you sit down at a certain time, you say things at a certain time. At some point during the service, you turn around to everyone around you, shake their hands, peace be with you, peace be with you.
We do that too.
And so like it was just like routine. Yeah.
And his mind is blown.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the heck?
And so granted, I had a much different experience going to the Baptist church, because even though it like was Baptist, it kind of has a very similar vibe here to where it's basically non-denominational here. And you know, we have like typical worship songs, not quite as modern as like here and like on KTIS. We did, our youth group did go on a missions trip, and our song for that missions trip was My Lighthouse. And that introduced me to like modern Christian music. And then we went to Joyful Noise that year, and Raeann Collective was there. And so they're my favorite Christian band now, just because of that. But so then we would start like singing that during service, and that was like our one modern song. Or else there were just kind of a lot of not hymns, but not new songs. And a lot of the songs, granted, this is like a child's worship thing, but every word has an action.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, yeah, coming here with like Praise Chapel and stuff like that, and even like before the like just talk chapels, like just playing like a pop Christian song, like that is so much different than what I grew up doing. So that's really funny how we had a very opposite like entrance to here.
Freshman year was a whole experience. All right, it's happening.
I don't remember any of the hymns, but I do remember singing them.
Yeah. There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
There are a lot. Morgan, do you have any?
Mine's kind of off topic a little, but I think mine was, I didn't know how do I word this? I guess everyone is so knowledgeable about like the Bible. Not everyone, but
That's
like the
true.
professors and everyone. I was like, I didn't even realize like some of the things they talked about. I'm like, wait, that actually happened. Like,
Yeah.
The Bible class, so I'm like, I feel dumb. I'm like, how do I know
And I
that?
feel like a lot of people around campus are just very knowledgeable, and I'm like, I just feel like I'm behind. I'm like, I really need to start reading my Bible more. But that's one of my goals. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really
I've cried
good.
too many times about that. I'm just like, I know nothing. Again, FaceTiming my parents. I'm just like, I know nothing.
Or-
I know absolutely nothing about
or
the
it's
Bible.
funny-
I feel dumb.
it's funny when like someone will make like a Christian joke, and you're just like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's like, I don't remember. I'm like, oh, that happened. Like,
Too many situations.
yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. And it's funny because you say it's weird being at a Christian school but not knowing a lot of the quote unquote basic Christian things. That's why we're at a Christian school though. So I feel like you have the
That's true.
Yeah, not everyone like knows everything.
Mhm.
You're
Seems like
good
everyone
learning.
does.
Yeah, it
seems
does.
like
But like a lot of people here, no offense,
It's
but,
okay,
like,
yeah.
are homeschooled. I feel
Yeah.
like that's different.
It is because we had the opportunity to just be like completely immersed
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
our parents
Really
wanted.
focus
Yeah.
on it.
I remember in like probably first or second grade, I like desperately wanted to bring my Bible to school to like read on the bus and read on the playground during
Yeah.
recess. I got in huge trouble for doing that.
Yeah.
So that's
What?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And so like
Dang.
even just reading it on the bus, like I wasn't allowed to. So that's a big difference between public school and, and being homeschooled.
I think I did something similar to that too, because like on Wednesdays or something, I think it was like in 5th grade, or maybe I got it as a gift, but like I had like a mini Bible and I brought it to school, but like I didn't know what it meant really. So
Yeah. Like I had this plan and I was going to read the Bible like a normal book.
Yeah.
I love to read, even though you cannot read the Bible like that. I
Not most.
don't know how people who do. But I was like going to do that. And I was very discouraged after I got in big trouble at school.
Ugh.
yeah, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's interesting because the amount of like they won't let you bring your Bible to your school, but they will let a lot of
We'll let you bring guns to school.
guns to school.
No.
But I feel like the school system also has certain opinions that aren't necessarily universal that they teach. But you
Yeah.
can't bring a Bible to school, and I'm like, okay.
There's something
Well,
wrong with that, but okay.
There's something wrong with that. It's not my favorite, but
Yeah.
Cool. That's scared.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
Just like, whoops.
there's a radio team getting out. Well, I feel like we learned a lot about each other.
I do too.
And I feel like we all need to go to church now because we all are like we want someone to go to church with, and we're like, oh hey,
Yes, we're here on a Sunday morning when
We
we
are.
should be.
And we should be at church. but
I know
we're
my
here.
dad and brother are like, are you going to church? I'm like, no, but we are talking about our faith, so it counts.
Very true.
It
Building a
counts.
relationship. That's
Yeah.
really good. Well, I had a great time. I feel like this is super fun. How do I don't even know how to end.
That's okay. I can.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
thank you for listening, wherever you're listening, or if you're watching clips of this on our socials stuff. We do have video clips on probably TikTok and Instagram, likely, probably,
Yes.
and video podcast form coming soon. Eventually, maybe, possibly.
That's good.
I'll have a little bit at the very end of where you can follow us at. But besides that, thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Good soup.
soup.
Good soup.